Hello everyone and welcome back to another Q&A. Totally just remembered that I'm on Wi-Fi. If you guys experience glitching on your end, please let me know and I will switch it over to cell data. Just let me know. Okay, so today we are going to get into a lot of really amazing topics. I do want to remind everyone that all of you get to watch this video, but only the members get to ask the questions and comment in the live chat. So I just want to say a huge shout out to all my members. Thank you guys for being here. And on top of that, this video will only be live and public for 24 hours. So if you want to share this to your friends or you want to rewatch it, then you're going to have to be a member to do that because it's going to my membership page tomorrow. All right, guys, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Like the topic or the title says, suicide, sleep paralysis, crop circles, contracts, soul contracts. And I also want to make an announcement that tomorrow I am going to be talking all about finding your soul purpose. So I've been really thinking about what topic is going to be the most impactful for all of you moving forward. And yes, I did get my hair done, so it's super, super blonde. And it's nice, it's fresh, it feels good. So I was really kind of meditating on that this morning on what's going to be the most impactful for all of you. And the topic that came downloaded to me this morning is how to find your soul purpose. So I really feel like all of you are light workers, star seeds, cosmic beings. You're all coming online at this time. And I think it's really important for all of us and all of you to feel confident in your soul purpose. So tomorrow I'm going to go through like a step-by-step video at 5:55 or 2:55 on how to find your soul purpose, how to discover your soul purpose. So that is a video that you definitely want to check out, and you definitely want to bring your notebook to the video because we need as many light workers and starseeds online as possible. And I pretty much get the question, how do I find, what is my soul purpose? What am I here for, right? I get that question pretty much every day. So all of you are very curious and interested in that. And I just want to say thank you so much, Sherry, for that beautiful super chat. You guys you spoil me, you treat me so well, and I'm so appreciative. So the first question does not actually come from a member, it comes from me. And it's a question that I've been debating for quite a long time. And I finally got the answer yesterday. I mean, I didn't finally just get the answer yesterday. Let's call it, I finally solidified the answer to this question yesterday. And the question is to wear a mask or not to wear a mask, right? And I'm just going to start off with this question. I think this is a really great question, and I've been debating it myself. And honestly, the answer is quite simple, and it might surprise you. And I think the reason why this question, to wear a mask or not to wear a mask, is such a conundrum and such a difficult one for a lot of us is because there are so many social pressures that we're feeling. And on top of that, not only the social pressures come in, but we're also feeling a lot of fear from society and from what's going on in the current circumstances, and most likely from your family and friends. You're feeling a lot of fear from them as well in regards to wearing a mask. Not only that, if you walk around not wearing a mask, which I've definitely experienced, you get some pretty nasty looks, right? So there's a lot, pretty much every other external factor in reality right now is telling you you're a bad person if you don't wear a mask. So I figured this is a perfect question to kind of start off with. Once again, the answer is really simple, and me and your spirit guides, the Galactic Federation, would never tell you to wear a mask or not to wear a mask. Ultimately, it is always up to you and your own free will and your own choice of what you're going to do in moment to moment. And I'll be totally honest with you guys, and I bounce back and forth between wearing one and not wearing one. And because I do it intuitively, okay? So the biggest thing about making a choice like wearing a mask or not wearing a mask is, how do you feel about it? What is your intention behind it? If you wear a mask through obligation and fear, then you are lowering your vibration and making a choice that is therefore disharmonious to your soul. If you're wearing a mask because it feels good to you, vibrationally, not because it feels good to wear a mask, but you're wearing a mask because it feels right to you in that moment to pass someone on the street and have a mask on, then great, you're making that choice in your free will and in a high vibration, right? So I wear my mask intuitively. I always have one on. I always have one around me, around my person. And sometimes, especially if I'm out in nature and I'm just doing my own thing and I'm away from people, and sometimes I do put it on for the respect of other people. Not because I'm disempowering myself, not because I feel obligated, not because I'm in fear, because I respect other people and their fears, right? And I'm not feeding into the matrix. I'm not feeding into the fear. I'm just neutralizing their frequency so that they don't have to react based on something that I am or am not doing. And that feels good to me, right? So, just like my diet, is intuitive, I basically make every choice in my life based on an intuitive choice. So it's not the fact of you wearing the mask or not wearing the mask. If you feel high vibrational and liberated and free by not wearing a mask, then that's what you need to do, because that's the vibration that you need to sit in. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does, right? Like, once again, it's not up to me as a 28-year-old human or as a channeler for the Galactic Federation to make any choices or any decisions for you at all. It's not up to me, it's up to you. And you need to make a choice that is in a high vibration. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, but I've been debating this a lot myself, and of course, that's how I eat food, that's how I have friends, that's how I choose the plants in my garden, is all through intuition, is all through highest excitement. That's how we should do everything. All right, okay, so first question from my members here. And members, you always have such great questions, especially when I leave it super open. So we're kind of all across the board today on topics. First question here is from Lori Jean Heron. Over the years, I have heard of soul traps and not to go into the light after we pass, as it keeps us stuck on this planet. Is this true, to not go into the light? And if so, what should we do? If there is one or many soul traps, where do they reside, and are they all still functioning? Really great question. So, yes, there are soul traps, not just contained within this reality. There are soul traps that are contained within the astral plane. And I have gone into previous lifetimes for clients that are cosmic lifetimes where they are either a Palladian or an angel, and they actually get taken advantage of, abused, and actually trapped into a system where they were, where they thought that they were giving their vibration and energy for the good, and they were actually funneling it and feeding it into a lower vibrational species. So it's really interesting. Like, I was surprised in tapping into these, let's call them soul traps, off in the ethers and other dimensions. I was surprised that a seventh dimensional angel can get stuck in one of these soul traps just as much as a third dimensional human can. So just kind of being aware that, no matter what dimension and frequency you are in this wide universe, polarity still always exists. And where polarity still always exists, you're going to have higher vibrational frequencies and therefore lower vibrational frequencies. And that always leaves room for the lower vibrational frequencies to manipulate, take advantage, and twist around the light, right? The higher vibrational frequencies. So, a long time ago, I heard about this soul trap about going into the light after death. And I deal with, and if you're a client of mine or if you've had a session with me, you'll know this, that I do deal with mediumship and crossing spirits over and checking into loved ones who have passed on. It's definitely not my preferred, but it gives me so much joy to be able to unstuck a stuck soul. So I used to do a lot of that work, especially walking into, an old castle and having all these ghosts and spirits, recognizing that I can see them, and then having to do the work, wherever I went. So, I mean, I really got started with that long before I was even online. And I would cross these spirits, and I still do. I still cross these spirits over into the light. And so what I've realized and understood is that the light is not a trap. And if anything, unfortunately, there's confusion and a bit of, confusion and manipulation with some light workers who receive information, and it really makes us fearful of the afterlife, and it makes us fearful of dying. Like, do you see how some channelers, if they don't have a proper amount of discernment, they can say, oh, well, this is the truth, and the light is a trap. And then it's like, okay, great. So now all of these souls who feel really good about crossing over feel very fearful about, well, I don't want to get stuck in the trap in the afterlife, right? So I really feel like that right there is actually a fear mechanism to manipulate us away from feeling peace nearing our exit point, if that makes sense. What I have really understood, especially in the reptilian video that I channeled, as well as the most recent child trafficking video that I channeled. And a lot of that information was new to me in the child trafficking video. And I think that that's why it hit me as well so deeply and so hard. And so the one thing that really astounded me, but also pieced a lot of the pieces together, is that the actual trap is that the reptilians know about karma, and they manipulate that karma to keep us stuck on this planet and stuck in fear, so that every lifetime we reincarnate into on this earthly plane is always filled with trauma and sexual abuse and just very corrupt mechanisms that we have to overcome. So we're so in the hamster wheel of overcoming all of our old karma that we're never actually able to experience our power. That is the trap. That is the trap. A lot of other channelers say that this is a prison planet. And I believe that to an extent. These definitely aren't the words that I would use. I mean, I would say that this is a freaking master planet, but that's just my perspective. So yeah, so is there a soul trap? I think that there's a karma trap. I think that we are completely demolishing that karma trap. I think that a lot of the etheric and a lot of the astral traps that are out there are also being realized and taken down. I mean, we're not just seeing a shift on this planet, we are seeing a shift for this entire solar system and, for the better part of the entire universe to once again bring balance. And I just got really intense chills in the back of my head when I said that. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that explains a little bit more of the soul trap. I don't believe that going into pure white light and crossing over is a trap at all. As a matter of fact, I believe that that's pure source, and I believe that we go back to pure source after this, right? I don't believe it's a trap, but that's just my perspective. Doesn't mean that it's always right or that it's always just the truth, right? Use your discernment. All right, good question, Lori. Let's go over to Nicole. Okay. I would really like to know why we have contracts in our lives that don't serve our highest good. I have a very short answer to this. We don't have contracts in our highest, or we don't have soul contracts that don't serve our highest good. It is only your limited perception in this moment as a human where you interpret the moment as not serving your highest good. That job that you lost, that divorce that you went through, that family member that you lost, those were all serving your highest good. You may not perceive it as such, but you put that on your path. So things that are very traumatic and very emotional, and let's say an extreme experience to us in this lifetime, are usually always, like always, always, always predestined in our contracts. Once again, you are the only one to create and write your contracts before coming to this planet, right? So, decisions and choices that you make that lead to, let's call it, that lead to a not very extreme outcomes are not necessarily contracted. So let me put it this way. The outfit that I chose to wear today wasn't necessarily predetermined before I came and was born as Elizabeth April on this planet, right? But the car accident, that I got into, which I haven't gotten into, I don't know why I just use that as an example. Because I think car accidents feel like an extreme thing that happens to us in the moment that we're not expecting, right? That's probably why I use that as an example. So that car accident that happened to you was predestined because it was a pivotal point in your life. It allowed you to go down a path that you would have never gone down. You are the person that you are. You are on your awakening path right now for a reason. Because all of those shitty things that you had to go through, all of those, moments of feeling unsupported by your parents in childhood, that all got you right here. And if you didn't have those challenges in your life and in your contracts, then you may not be right here right now listening to this video on your journey, on your path of awakening, right? We need to realize that there is no such thing as a contract that does not serve your highest good. And hopefully that makes sense. Awesome. Cool. All right, next question. Question here from Josephine. Could you speak about why our psychic abilities, this is a really good one, seem to come and go? I've definitely felt that I don't try so hard and it comes easier, but sometimes it's like after all my progress, it just disappeared. It comes back, but then there's an ebb and flow. What is the reason for this? This is a great question, and actually a couple of other of you asked the same question or a similar question, which is, why can't I hold my psychic abilities? So there's a couple of reasons for this. I will tell all of you as well that my psychic abilities did not come online all at the same time. It was one step after another step after another step to accumulate to get to this point where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like I can tap into my, empathic, I can astral travel, I can, read your thoughts, which I won't, you know what I mean? But like, it really comes down to that. So the biggest thing is integration. And you even mentioned that in your question, Josephine, is it integration? It is. So one aspect of your psychic abilities comes online, and then you have to take the time to integrate it. So that's one aspect. That's a big aspect of it. I will tell you right now, just be careful what you ask for. I know a lot of you really want all of your psychic abilities to come online, but I just want to make it very clear to you that most likely you want your psychic abilities to come online as a proof factor that you are psychic. You need to believe that you're psychic first before all of your psychic abilities come online, okay? So if you're saying, well, I'll only believe that I'm a starseed, or I'll only believe that I'm powerful once I have a psychic experience or a paranormal experience, you're holding that back from you, right? You're not in the vibration and energy of trust. And so you're actually taking yourself away from having those really cool experiences. So be aware of that. The other thing too is I will tell you right now that I know of a lot of people who all of their psychic abilities came online all at once. And unfortunately, they went through a psychosis and they got put into a hospital. And them experiencing their psychic abilities in the fullest extent was extremely traumatic for them. You do not want that. I'm telling you right now, you do not want that, all right? So be grateful for every experience, every moment that you have. Also, is anyone else experiencing really vivid dreams? Like almost to the point where it's freaking exhausting and it feels like the dreams don't really have a profound meaning, but you're really aware of them and then you wake up super tired because you're like, I've just been on an adventure all night. Oh my goodness. It's been so intense. And I've just been so, like, I literally feel like I'm existing in two realms. So I want to tell all of you, I mean, playing, that's what I call it, playing in the astral realm and being in that dream state, right? In a lot of ways, that allows us to tap into and play within those etheric, liminal, astral frequencies and astral realms while we're in waking life here. So having these vivid dreams is actually stimulating large amounts of dimethyltryptamine in your pineal gland, which allows you to have a more fulfilling experience here on the planet. So just like your psychic abilities are coming online, your dreams are also getting more intense. And this is all a part of you stepping into that. The other thing that I want to say too is your psychic abilities are also dependent on your vibrational frequency. And just like trying to have a lucid dream, I remember when I started lucid dreaming, I would wake up in the dream and I would start to change stuff in the dream. Like I would make the room that I was in much bigger or much smaller, and it was just really fun. Yeah, but then I would get so excited that I was changing the dream that I would collapse the dream, right? I don't know if any of you have had dreams collapse on you, and you're like, no, but I just want to fly, and then it's just done, it's over. So that also happens with your psychic abilities. You have a message, you have a download, and your reaction to it, whether it be a fear frequency or an excitement, a love frequency, the spike in frequency is actually going to collapse the ability. So it's really funny. So it's a lot of things all at once. It's like maintaining the right high vibrational frequency without emotional reaction, which is like good luck with that. But psychic abilities is not something that you have to practice, guys. You can, but you are naturally psychic. What you really need to work on in order to step into your psychic abilities is work on any sort of resistance that you have in your in your third dimension life, right? If you have any sort of limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, attachments, fear, you're not going to be able to uphold the vibration and energy of psychic. Once you clear all your third dimensional shit, watch out, world, because you're going to be stepping into your psychic abilities. It's just as clear as that. Okay, so let's go over to Natalie S. Once again, guys, if you want to ask me questions every week, I take the questions on a Friday, and they are questions from my members only. So just sign up, click the join button to be a member, and then you get to ask questions. Yeah. And then you also get to live chat as well on Sundays. Okay, so Natalie, sleep paralysis. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, who here has had sleep paralysis before? Okay, so I've been seeing so many posts of people suffering from sleep paralysis, either recently or for years. I'd love to know your theory on this and how to help them. Yeah, okay, so personally, I have actually not experienced sleep paralysis a lot in my life, if ever. Like, I don't remember ever a moment where I'm laying in bed and unable to move. So for me, I'm very disconnected from this. However, I have channeled why this happens. So it happens for a couple of different reasons. I can't just say that when it happens, this is the only reason why it's happening. There are two main reasons why sleep paralysis will happen to you. And of course, you're contracted to have that happen to you as well. One is actually astral traveling and remote viewing, right? Astral traveling, remote viewing. So that's basically when you get out of your body and you travel around. And we actually astral travel when we dream. So all of us astral travel all the time. We're actually not even aware of it. So what happens half of the time, some of the time when you experience sleep paralysis is you'll wake up, maybe from a dream, maybe from whatever, you'll wake up kind of unannounced and you won't be able to move your body because your soul isn't back in your body, if that makes sense. And it's actually like, it's kind of like a defense mechanism or a protection mechanism that your body has of when you're away. It's like, I don't know, it's like your body isn't active. I don't know how to explain it, I guess. But that's one aspect of it, right? So I've experienced this when I'm out of body and I feel like I can't move my body, or it's really heavy, or I feel a pressure. So that's one aspect of sleep paralysis. You guys are psychic enough and you're aware enough to discern which one you're experiencing, whether it be the astral projection and the fact that, oh, you've woken up before your soul's back in your body. And I do want to say too that it is totally possible for me to talk to all of you and completely move my body while I also astral travel and remote view. So it's usually just a sleeping thing, right? When you're sleeping and you're away, especially when you're away a far distance, your body will just kind of go into this kind of comatose mode. Okay, so that's one half of it. The other half of it is abduction experiences. A lot of interdimensionals have the ability and the technology, it's actually pretty rudimentary technology, to put someone into a paralysis mode so that they can do, whether it be upgrades, experiments, chips, abductions, what have you, but you're going to experience that sleep paralysis. So within the abduction realm, it also includes like psychic and entity attacks as well. When you're getting attacked by an entity, it's almost like they can freeze you. And some people experience the feeling of heaviness on their chest or something sitting on their chest. And that's the pressure that they're feeling from the dark entity. So I do have an affirmation for people who do experience sleep paralysis regularly. You should ask what vibration it's in, though, next time you experience it. Is it just the fact that you haven't caught up with your body, or does it feel something nefarious, or is it actually something high vibrational and it's just, your Palladian buddies who are upgrading you and they need you to be, quite still while they do that? So an abduction experience, even though it feels very scary to not be able to move your body, it could be a very positive thing that you're experiencing and that's happening to you, but the fear of not being able to move overrides the fact that this is a positive upgrade or what have you. So it really comes down to your discernment. Could be positive, could be negative. It's up to you to figure that out. So I do have an affirmation that should help. I can't guarantee that it's going to help everyone, but this is what I channeled. I have full sovereign control over my current state of being. I have full sovereign control over my current state of being, right? I have full freedom over my current state. And that's going to just help you reclaim your power in that moment. And if you are scared and it does feel nefarious, then you can basically put an end to it right then and there with your mind. Your mind is alert, your mind is awake, your body is frozen. By saying that statement, you should be able to get yourself out of the sleep paralysis. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention too with dreams, if you feel exhausted, like I've been feeling recently every time I wake up, and you're like, man, I just want to get a good sleep, then you can literally set the intention before you sleep to have a restful sleep. You can say, look, I don't want to dream tonight. I don't want to remember my dreams tonight. I don't want to be conscious. I just want to relax, rejuvenate. I want to heal my body tonight. And you will get a much more restful sleep. Most of the time I do that, I get a really restful sleep. Most of the time I just forget to do that, and it's a wild ride all night long. Okay, cool. Okay, next question here. This is a heavy one, so just embrace yourself. Yeah. So this question is from Laura. Hi, Elizabeth. So back in December, my dad committed suicide. I know suicide only means that a soul has to redo or relive that life in order to learn the specific lesson they originally came here to learn. However, I'm wondering if suicide can ever be a part of a soul's contract. Is it possible that suicide can be a lesson in and of itself, not just for the person who is committing suicide, but for those directly affected by it as well? I hope this question makes sense. It does. So let me explain a couple of things about suicide. I believe that suicide can be contracted. And that might be a really difficult statement for some people to hear. But we also have to have full awareness that that it was that individual who chose that contract upon coming into this life. And just like you mentioned, Laura, that contract will basically force that being, that person, that soul to come back again and to relive that experience that they had. So suicide is a very traumatic exit point, but also one that a soul feels in full control of, especially when a soul feels trapped or not in control of the current dynamics and situation at all, right? So if you feel like there's no way out, it feels like that is the way out. It feels like that is the exit point. So what I tend to find with beings is that And I experience this a lot with clients and reading into their past lifetimes and saying, wow, you really went through a lot in this lifetime. And in this past lifetime, you were also abused as a child. And you also had to experience that. And you also had to experience abuse from your husband. And you also had to run away. But in that past lifetime, you ended up committing suicide and taking your own life. And in this lifetime, you decided to override that feeling of leaving. And you decided to stay, right? And empower yourself with this energy of staying. So it's almost like everything that led up to your father's passing, he needs to now replay again in another life, unfortunately, right? Because it's just a lot of suffering. And he needs to replay all of that, but find his inner strength rather than finding the way out, right? It's almost like a soul needs to prove to themselves that they can do it, that they can conquer that, again. And so it's really difficult. It's a really difficult concept. But once again, I think deep down, people who are taking exit points right now, they may understand at a deeper soul level that they're not ready to change enough to uphold the vibration of the fifth dimension frequency. And that's a difficult concept, but hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better that he most likely chose that, or it was a replace from a past lifetime, and he's going to come back again and actually conquer that lesson, and he's going to get the right tools over on the other side to be able to overcome that. Yeah. Okay, so another question here from KV. I'd love to learn more about ascension. Who will ascend? When? What will it look like and feel like? Will people be left behind? So many questions. Great questions, by the way. And I think a lot of people are wondering the same things about ascension. And I have to let you know that ascension is going to look and feel slightly different for everyone. But essentially, you're not hopping into a brand new reality. The craziest and weirdest thing about ascension and awakening and moving into a new vibrational frequency on this planet is that, okay, let me put it this way. In other dimensions, in other frequencies, when a soul ascends, like, say, for example, we're talking about the 10th dimension frequency, and we're looking at an etheric being of light. And that etheric being of light has now learned all of the lessons that they needed to learn in the 10th dimension frequency, and they're ready to move on, say, to the 11th dimension, just to put it in a linear way. And so in that moment, in the instant where they're like, I've learned everything I needed to learn, they ascend, and it literally looks like their soul is just leaving that 10th dimension plane and going to a higher plane of existence. That's what we see in a lot of the higher dimensions. Now, if you think about Catholicism, Christianity, and we talk about the concept of ascension and you're ascending, I think, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong because I really don't know what this religion has to say, but I do remember an image of the ascension is all of these souls leaving the planet and now they're going to heaven, or I don't know what it is, but it's the process of the souls leaving. As a matter of fact, what's very odd and also very unique about our ascension is we're still here. And a lot of you are probably like, darn, I really wanted to leave. I was really ready for the next step. And look, you've got the rest of your entire eternity as a soul to experience other realms, other dimensions, other bodies, other lifetimes, right? You've got the rest of your eternity to experience the universe out there, all right? There should be no push for you to leave or feel like this isn't right for you right now. This is incredible, actually. So when you ascend, let's say to the 5th dimension frequency, you're still here. You're still in the same room. You're still looking at a laptop. Things don't really change in your physical reality, even though eventually the ripple effect of your higher vibration will change your romantic partner. It will change your job. It will change your experience. It will change your perception. It will change the people who are in your life. It will change the conversations that you have. In effect, ascending to a new vibrational frequency will indeed change every aspect of your life, but it will not happen overnight. You won't wake up in a completely different reality. And I think a lot of us kind of expect that. Just like the psychic abilities, we kind of just wait to wake up and be full psychic. And it just doesn't happen that way, right? It's just one step at a time. So realize that you're still going to be here. You're still going to have the same body, but your everything else is going to shift and change gradually and eventually, right? So that's kind of what ascension looks like. As far as when it happens, it can happen to you right now. Actually, it is happening to you right now. Right now, as we speak, you are on the process, on the journey of ascension, of moving to a higher plane of existence. You're doing it. Congratulations, you're here. And the sooner that you recognize that, and the sooner that you trust that, the sooner you can actually move forward on your journey, right? It's that trust. The more resistance that you have to what is or is not happening to you, the more you hold yourself back in a realm of questioning and doubt and fear. All right? So yeah, hopefully that helps. Okay, cool. A couple more questions here. Next question from another member, Pause on Wheels. Pretty cool. I'd like to ask about crop circles. You may have spoken about this before, but if so, I have missed it, which honestly I haven't. Have you channeled any crop circles and messages? There are ones that just recently appeared at Stonehenge, again in June, or even this month. They're not ever spoken about in mainstream, yet they are so spectacular and amazing. Awesome. All right. So crop circles. Yeah, I mean, of course, I think on our awakening journey, like we always come across like the conspiracy theories and the crop circles and the pyramids and the questioning and the thoughts of, why isn't anyone else talking about this? Like, this is mind-blowing. Right? This is mind-blowing stuff. Why isn't anyone else talking about this? I felt the same way when I saw crop circles as I did when I learned that we had 90% junk DNA. I'm like, why isn't anyone talking about this? This is crazy. I mean, this is everything. And no one's talking about it. So let's talk about it. So I highly believe 100% crop circles are the real deal. I really think that there was probably a couple of young boys back in the day who, made some fake crop circles, maybe to throw off humanity, maybe just to have some fun. I don't know. But I mean, these crop circles are so precise. It would take a human being months to create what is created in a matter of minutes. Of course, they use certain technologies. And the coolest thing is the crops are actually bent in a way that doesn't harm the crop itself, right? I mean, that's really cool. Like humans don't do that. They break them. They don't bend them in a way that they're still growing, right? So I definitely believe in crop circles, and my understanding of it, two things that I understand from crop circles. One is I believe that they are messages from our intergalactic family members. Of course, they are family members who are giving us those messages because low vibrational beings wouldn't really bother to like do something special for us. They just wouldn't bother, right? So they're definitely messages for us, and every crop circle has a different message to it. I actually have t-shirts and even jewelry that has crop circle images and a lot of that really cool sacred geometry stuff. Yeah, because I really resonate with them. So every crop circle image, especially like the geometric ones, have messages and downloads and information there. And then there's some other like more obvious ones, like one that really stands out. It literally looks like a gray alien. And then, oh yeah, and then some other ones are actually about the solar system, and they teach us about astrology. And this is what they did way back in the day, like ancient Mayan, Aztec time. They brought down, not just crop circles, but they brought down information, sacred geometry, and visuals of the solar system for us to understand, that we're living in a really a much greater reality than what we believe. So that's really beautiful. So every crop circle, I believe, has a message. The other thing too is that they tend to appear where vortexes are, so vortexes, but also at the same time, they tend to create vortexes. So a lot of like UFO researchers, they will go to a crop circle after it appears, and they will measure the electromagnetic frequency, and it's off the charts. So that actually creates this portal. And that's why a lot of groups actually tend to sit in crop circles and do meditation and manifest things. The other thing that I heard from the interdimensionals and the star families is that if there's enough people in the same area who are all asking for contact, or they're all asking for an appearance, let's say, that's the area that they will create a crop circle in. So it's like kind of like these hotbeds of conscious humans all asking for an experience will actually attract that. And it's really cool. Then a couple of days later, it appears in a field right by their house or what have you. So yeah, so just that's a couple of things that I know about crop circles. Hopefully that validates what you know. I haven't really sat down to channel too many crop circles before. I mean, it was a long time ago that I was into them. And like you mentioned, they're not really talked about too much anymore. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're happening more and more, just like the sightings in the sky as well. Oh. John, you're saying that my lips are moving, but you can't hear what I'm saying. I hope that other people can hear what I'm saying, and maybe that's just a lesson that you have to learn, John. Like, all right, two more questions. Next one is from Julia. Hi, Elizabeth. For the last few years, I feel like I'm constantly shifting from being super connected and aligned to feeling very disconnected with my energy and psychic abilities. It feels like I've been struggling to maintain my frequency and are repetitively crashing and burning over and over again. I'm wondering how we can learn from this dynamic and hold our frequency once and for all. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention is this is a very natural progression into a higher vibrational frequency. And I actually just did a huge channel about this the other day, like probably within the past month, I did a huge channel on this. And it has to do with layers. So, yeah. So imagine an onion, all right? Let's use an onion as an example. And inside the onion is your soul, okay? You are the onion. Inside the onion is your soul. And every single layer around your soul is a layer of attachment, expectation, past lifetime, karma, trauma, right? Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So what happens is you're going through an ego death. You're going through a dark night of the soul. You're going through heavy emotions. You're getting really challenged in your reality. Nothing is really working out for you, right? And then finally you break through that layer and you're like, oh my goodness, aha, this is it. This is what I'm learning. This is amazing. You peel back that layer. And now you're just kind of integrating the lesson that you learned by purging out and peeling back that layer, right? And for a moment, for a couple weeks, for a couple days, maybe for a couple hours, you feel really good. You feel really aligned. You feel really, just really harmonious, right? And then you go deeper. And then you hit another layer. And you're like, man, I just went through all of this. I just experienced all of this. I mean, why do I feel like this again? And then you go through all of the symptoms again, the body aches and pains, the exhaustion, the lack of the psychic connection, the superhuman stuff, the over-attachment, the hunger, the lack of appetite. I mean, you just go through it all again, but there's a different lesson to learn, right? And then you break through that lesson and you're like, oh, this is amazing. This feels really good. And then for a couple weeks, maybe for a couple months, you feel really good, really harmonious. You're integrating what you just learned. Boom. Then you hit another layer, right? So you need to realize that every time you go through this shitty feeling, this low vibrational frequency, it's something new. You're never backtracking. You're never stepping back. You're never re-experiencing something old. Never. You're always learning something new. You're always moving forward. You're always going back and getting back to source. You're always going back and getting to the deeper layer of your soul. And eventually, when you get there, to your pure soul, you no longer have any layers. And that's when you can fully up here, I don't know what the word is, right? Is that frequency. And that's going to take a while. I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm still processing and going through all the layers and figuring it out. So just be aware of that. We have one more question left, and I know that John is spamming a little bit the live chat, and you're talking about mud flood. I don't know what mud flood is. All right, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know about it. But hopefully you can do your own research and figure it out on your own, John. But sorry, I don't have the answers for you. And on top of that, I don't usually take questions live. So hopefully you can just kind of dig deep and maybe unlock some sort of layer that's going on within you about a mud flood. And before I get to the last question from Jeremy, I am going to, I just want to mention that tomorrow's live video, it's back in action. All right. And I just want to say thank you so much for the super chat, Ingrid. Really appreciated. So so tomorrow's live video is going to be a really good one. It's going to be lighter. Like, it's not going to be as heavy as obviously the child one. That was really, it was a lot. And I'm glad that I took the time away from YouTube a little bit, away from producing content a little bit to allow all of you to integrate that vibration. All right, so tomorrow's video is really good. It's a practical video that is going to help all of you understand what your soul mission is. I get this question all the time. What am I here for? What is my soul mission? How do I find it? I'm going to help you all with very practical, very, tangible, step-by-step process in how to find your soul mission, integrate that, and feel like you can move forward, not only just support yourself, but support humanity. And this would typically be a webinar that I would, charge for, right, is how to find your soul mission. But this is something that everyone needs to know. So, and also it's a lighter topic. So it's something that you can really share out and help like individuals who just lost their job, or who just, who are suffering with a divorce or a breakup, or, people, most people out there are really suffering, right, with, losing their old reality. So hopefully you can help these people by stepping into this new reality and finding their soul mission. And sometimes it's not this aha moment of, I have to be a Reiki practitioner. Most of the time, finding your soul mission is actually just better understanding who you are as a human being and what excites you the most, to understand where you are being called to. That makes sense. Yeah, and then once again, make sure that all of you have hit the subscribe button, all right? And make sure that all of you have hit the thumbs up button too, because that just helps support me in my mission and this community. And of course, it supports videos like this to get out there. Once again, guys, this video will only be live for 24 hours. It will be taken down tomorrow. So if you want to rewatch this or write notes or send this out, you have to be a member because it's going right to my membership page. And of course, if you want to ask questions and get exclusive videos every Thursday that no one else gets to watch, definitely sign up and be a member and deep dive with me. But I won't be talking about history or mud floods. So once again, sorry about that, John. All right, let's go into Jeremy. Last question here. Okay, so I'm wondering if you or anyone else experienced psychic or physical attacks while sending out love and light and holding space after the child sex trafficking video. I had a hell of a night last night. For once, I do hope I was the only one. This is a really great question, and I want to actually ask all of you. Of course, only members can comment back. But yeah, let me know, like, did anyone else, upon doing the work for the children and sending out love and light, and even in last Monday's video, doing, doing all of the work for the children and for the planet and for harmonizing, did anyone else experience psychic attacks or exhaustion or any sort of negative effects afterwards? And I do want to say, first of all, Jeremy, thank you for doing the work. I mean, that's really appreciated. And doing the energy work, it's interesting because no one knows that you're doing it. You're doing it just for the sake of doing it for humanity. There's nothing that you receive back. And if anything, you do tend to put a target on your back by doing that energy work. So I have huge props, huge respect going out to all of the energy workers, the grid workers out there doing the work for the planet and getting absolutely nothing in return other than understanding that they're helping and supporting humanity. So so it's actually not uncommon to get attacked after we do the work, but it's really, you only tend to get attacked or targeted if you don't properly protect yourself. So just being aware that putting an invisibility cloak on yourself, putting an invisibility cloak on your home, I don't really believe in like a protection layer necessarily, because if you try and protect yourself a little bit too much, then you're actually lowering your vibration and you're putting the frequency out there that you need to be protected, if that makes sense, right? And that can really lower your vibration. So just being aware of the balance of protection, and that's why I use invisibility cloaks as well, is just because it's like I can do the work that I need to do out there in the ethers or down there in the caves, without being seen, right? So that's kind of what I do, and then just making sure that you're clearing your space and lighting sage, and you have some good, solid crystals around you as well, which always helps. Also, one more thing that I want to leave you all off with, other than subscribe because that's important, is I have a really exciting jewelry line coming out. I don't know, like it's crystal jewelry, but so one of them is going to be just an EA bracelet that's going to help you connect to the cosmos as well as ground into the earth and to your human. I feel like one of my greatest superpowers is the ability to balance, to be such a weird, quirky, full of hobbies human, as well as, be able to channel 12-dimensional beings. So I have a bracelet coming out with that. And then I also have a whole interdimensional line of bracelets coming out. And I have a quiz, an alien quiz, coming out with the bracelet line. So you get to take the quiz, figure out who you are or who you need more energy, more vibration of. And then you get to, purchase the bracelet. So I think we have, who do we have? We have Greys, Palladians, Angels, I believe, Anunnaki, Octurian, and Mantis. Yeah, we have Mantis too. Anyway, it's going to be really exciting. So I just want to plant this seed. That's in the works. And I channeled all of the crystals that need to go with the bracelets. And I also channeled the sacred geometry symbols that go with each species as well. So that's really exciting. It's not out yet, but just keep that in your mind. And other than that, thank you all so much for being here. I will see you all tomorrow at 5:55 for your soul purpose.